Okay, I am. I'm live. Come in, and I hear some thunder in the background. So let me get this live stream going. Let's get it going. You all come in and hit that thumbs up, whatever platform that you are watching on, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or the YouTube, right? Come in and hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. Let me do some work in the background. While I'm doing that, let me know where you are tuning in from. Just say hello or come in and drop your city and state. Let me know whether you are watching this live or on the replay. And believe it or not, I had a root canal procedure yesterday. So, hey, I just took my ibuprofen right before I went live and decided to put on my blue tinted glasses to keep the laptop and all these lights from coming in and giving me a headache. But I want to live stream yesterday. Actually, hello, Dr. Forms. Thank you for tuning in and saying hello. I wanted to live stream yesterday, but I'm like, nah, gotta have some Sabbath day. Um, so I just let my mouth and everything rest. So I'm not planning on being on this live stream for long. But every time I say that, sometimes it just does not pan out that way. So as long as I'm pain free, we're gonna do this live stream, right? Because we are in a transitional, just like the government said. The government has announced we are definitely in transition time. We are definitely in transition time. Hello, Dex from Atlanta. Dex, I was just in the ATL last weekend. Definitely wish I could have networked and caught you at my business event in Atlanta. We had a conference, a very fun conference, networking with people. And speaking of my business event, you all, if you want to be a part of getting paid every day, and doubling the income that you're already making, this is great for network marketers that's been in other opportunities. If you ever been in other network marketing opportunities, you know that having a compensation plan that pays daily, guaranteed, right? Meaning that you don't have to, get paid off of last month's efforts. But as long as you keep a guaranteed, um, a guaranteed status of people being in the member, and people, they stay in this program for a long time because of the compensation plan. It just came out revamped 3.0, because and you get a longer retention rate, because what it does is for employees that have a job, if they have a job, it positions them to get an increase out of their paycheck. It's called an instant pay raise. I won't go into all the details, but when people connect to it and they see more money out of their paycheck, and it helps them offset or absorb the cost of gas and grocery prices and things like that. Adding my last business partner that came aboard with me, her instant pay raise was $604, money that she did not know that she had. And as long as you tap in and you get that guaranteed compensation plans that a lot of network marketing programs don't offer, and that means that's from your past efforts, that it continuously will pay you passively, residually from your past efforts. So you don't have that in a lot of plans. They pay you on your current efforts or your 30-day efforts. Also helps people with their credit, improve their credit scores. On their behalf, they will exercise your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to help you improve your credit scores, your FICO scores, not your Credit Karma scores, not your fancy scores, but your for real credit scores. So have people that do that heavy lifting for people where they're not consumed with taking maybe a year or more than a year of trying to figure out how to fix their own credit, because we know that time is more valuable than money. So also people daily pay, increase the instant pay raise. And if you're a self-employed business owner, right, we know that cash flow is always the name of the game for business owners. And people, I want you to consider this. This is not to, you know, anyway, discourage you about opening a business in these recession type environments. But just know the average stat shows statistically, trying to make sure I say that correctly with my root canal, show that most new businesses, their lifespan is about 3 years. And when you are opening a business in a recession, right, make sure that it is a business that people will want, need, and desire to get in business with a new person, a newbie, especially if you don't have tenure. If you haven't been in business for years, make sure that it's a business that people, when their money is tight and their budget is tighter, will pay a new person on the scene and trust your services over a person that has tenure and has been in business for years, and has built and established a name and credibility. Right. So make sure that you are properly prepared and prepped for a new business where you can just position yourself to double the money that you're already making. And most people only think the only way they can double the money that they're already making, they think, well, I have to, hustle. I have to have a side hustle. Listen, I'm not against any side hustles, but side hustles have proven to still not bring in you that revenue. I've had stories where people told me they got two jobs. They got a part-time job and they had to stop working. They had to cut back hours on the part-time job because after a year they found out that now I owe more taxes by having this part-time job. So instead of positioning yourself to owe more taxes, instead of positioning yourself where your you have to cut your part-time job because by the time you put your hours in and you calculate the pay, it's not really helping you get ahead financially, right? This is a very inexpensive uh, investment to double the money that you're already making. Thank you, Dex says smash that like button. So go ahead and text cash flow to 254-788-1144, because as I tell people, you must increase your cash flow. You must increase your cash flow. I don't care what investment tool you want to be in. I don't care if you want to be in cryptocurrency. I don't care if you want to invest in a life insurance policy, which I was just on a live stream and I was talking about how, in my humble opinion, wealthy people use life insurance policy as a tax-free personal bank. They use this as a strategy to supercharge their money or supercharge their savings. And they already have a surplus or a lump sum of six figures, usually to deposit into these life insurance policies, where that's really not the issue as much for the middle class. And so when you look at the best ROI, especially in the times that we are heading in, people, it is definitely the number that I have on the screen for you to get cash flow and position yourself for daily pay. Also, if you invest in silver or gold, and we know that silver and gold is not it does not cash flow. You will have to hold on for silver and gold, and you will have a lot of people's strategy with that is they're waiting to the prices double, right, or triple, or they're waiting for $100 silver, which is $24 right now, $24 an ounce to hit, or maybe $1,000 silver. But we know silver does not cash flow, and neither does gold. So right now, if you are already investing in silver, and I say silver in particular because I do not think it's the plan for the middle class, the everyday person, the blue collar worker, the everyday middle class person, to be investing in $1,800 ounce of gold. I don't think that's a plan for the middle class. I think, again, just like life insurance, these life insurance policies and these salesmen that are selling you these policies, and just think about it, they are selling you these policies so they can get residual income, so they can get cash flow. They're not telling you all of the fees and other surcharges that's added into these life insurance policies. They're not telling you things like the difference between taking a loan out against the policy and borrowing against the policy. See, they're not telling you that these are strategies that the rich and wealthy use, right? And so, people, make sure that you have a plan that fits your bank account and your cash flow. People want to say silver and gold is God's money. It is. So is pearls. So is diamonds. So is oil. Right? Those are all made by the infinite God. However, you have to do what makes financial sense and savvy for you. What financially fits your budget in your household? That where you can stock up on your groceries that like you need to and still afford to invest and grow cash. So I tell everybody your first plan of action should be to double your money. I don't care if it's out of your paycheck or if you have a small business. That's number one. Let's double the money that you're already making. People, we are entering the 7th month of the year, which is just 5 months from December. You don't have long to prepare. If you are a small business owner right now, why not double up the taxes that you get back and get that money back from the government? If you were excited about the PPP loans, if you are excited about the, I think it's the ERC, where you pay your employees from the government, why not small business owners? Why not network marketers be excited about daily guaranteed residual income? And why not my small business owners be excited about getting thousands more back in taxes? Because you leave your house or your townhouse or your apartment or your condo to go to work. So a lot of those taxes that is right under your roof, you don't have tax write-off benefits for because you're not under the code of a home-based business and a brick and mortar business owner. See, through the home-based business, when you leave your resident to go to work, your children, the government will pay you up to $1,000 a month to write your children off as tax deductions, right? Things that operate in your house, in your household, the government will pay you when you connect this to your paycheck or your small business, and you can get guaranteed residual income. No other home-based business has this compensation plan, has this payout, and it's needed now more than ever, especially in recession times. It's headed for depression. So let's go right into this. Bitcoin prices fall, and not only Bitcoin, cryptocurrency prices have fallen. So let's look at the crypto market. Again, you cannot buy the dip if you don't have the cash flow, right? This is why you see millionaires and billionaires buying whole Bitcoins right now because they have stashed their cash and they are positioned. Having 5 ounces, let's say Ryan says, Ryan, I'm going to use your comment. Having 5 or 10 ounces of silver for a recession and depression that can last for years is not going to last long. They give you what, $10,000 return on your investment. Even if silver hits $1,000, do you have more than 10 ounces? Do you have 500 ounces or 1,000 ounces of silver to really participate in this wealth transfer? Do you have enough, as again the big heavy hitters are buying whole Bitcoins at $19,000, $21,000? So, people, all I'm saying is right now, I'm going to take you all through a history lesson from the Great Depression. I'm going to answer the question, do I think this is the year of Jubilee? This is going to be the greatest test of all. This is going to be the greatest wealth transfer of all. Um, the birth of a great transition is underway. The government has already used that term. And we are entering into the fourth industrial revolution. During the Great Depression, it was the first industrial revolution, right? I got some bad weather in the background. So again, let's go through this. What describes the year of Jubilee biblically, right? What describes the year of Jubilee biblically? Well, according to the Bible, Numbers 36 and 4, there was a blowing of a ram's horn that would indicate the start of a Jubilee year. There's always a announcement. My voice got dry. There's always an announcement before we go into recessions and depressions. If you look at 1 Kings 17, Elijah announced that a great drought was coming. There's always an announcement. You can take heed to it or you can't, right? So in Numbers 36, the blowing of a ram's horn, a voice, a sound, indicate the start of the year of Jubilee. The Israelites dedicate this year of rest to God, they did acknowledge that God will provide for their needs. I am a firm believer in that. That the infinite God will provide for your needs. I am a firm believer that He will make a way out of no way. I have to stop saying He. That's just a bad habit. Stop saying He. Because when it comes to the creator of the universe, you cannot put a gender on it. Right? That doesn't make sense to put a gender. You can't put a gender on a spirit. That's just like putting a gender on the wind. Wind does not have a gender. It's the wind. It's the spirit. So with that being said, the Israelites, they knew that God would take care of them. In this, the Israelites had a covenant with God. They had a covenant with God. In Malachi chapter 3, we see this covenant. And through this covenant, as a part of it, God gave the Israelites land. He gifted them land. He told them, I want you to sow into your own soil. If I was teaching this in a metaphysical way, I would translate this into saying you need to invest in yourself. Your soil is your mind and your thoughts and your words, and invest in financial education. I had someone to hit me up on Facebook, show me a screenshot on crypto.com. Queen, I invested $15 in Dogecoin. Do you think this is enough? Now, I'm not even that person's financial advisor. They didn't even say hello to me, ask me how my day was going. They probably didn't even know I had a root canal yesterday. They didn't care. They have no relationship with me. All they know is I talk about cryptocurrencies. And so they asked me, was $15 worth of Shiba Inu enough? I'm not even responding to a person. If their first investment in cryptocurrency is SHIB and it's $15 and they have it on an exchange like crypto.com that many people don't even know how to withdraw their money out of when it's time to cash out. I just hope that that was not that person's first investment in crypto. Because starting with SHIB or Dogecoin, which are meme cryptocurrencies, which means they're just popular by demand, popular in communities, but they don't have use cases yet. I mean, Dogecoin at least has the richest man in the world endorsing it, but we know how many celebrities and millionaires and billionaires endorse certain cryptocurrencies and NFTs just to get a payout. You know, they get a kickback, so you have to be aware of that as well. So I'm not answering those type of questions. You can either get a financial education. I often text that number on the screen about these cryptocurrencies. You can know how to move your money out the exchange. You can know how to store it, right? I'm not the person just to come ask for me to give you free financial advice. And to answer the question, is $15 worth of sheep a good? Is that enough? I don't even know your financial situation. $15 to some people, they can drop it in the street, not even know it's missing. $15 to other people right now during this time, it's a stretch for them. But I can tell this is not a person. I sent them that 331-444-5556 number that you see strolling on the screen. They didn't even take time to watch the intro video about crypto. So to me, for that person, any amount of money that they put in crypto is too much because they're not willing to get educated about it. So now we had a year of Jubilee that comes every 50 years. It's a full year release of people from their debts. A lot of people is excited about that. If I said I believe that this is the year of Jubilee transition and also going into the great reset depression at the same time. But they don't realize a lot of people released from their debts also mean that a lot of people won't have houses, vehicles, do foreclosures. A loss of debts can also mean a loss of homes, jobs, as you can, tell credit card companies, I can't pay you, I'm not gainfully employed, and they would zero out the debt. And another thing about that is also that even when you, for example, get a charge off from a credit card, they will send you a 1099-C form in the mail at the end of the year. Whatever amount of money that you did not pay on that credit card will be taxed as income. So let's say, for example, you have a $20,000 Navy Federal credit card that you are unable to repay, and it goes into a charge off. Well, you get and also this cash flow number that I have on the screen also helps with credit restoration. So you go with this company for credit repair, they remove the charge off. And this is why I'm suggesting that you go with this company, not just because of the guaranteed daily income, but they help you with your credit as well and get more tax money from the government. It's because now, when you get that 1099-C form from Navy Federal for that $20,000 debt that you did not repay, you can also get tax credit up to 470 tax deductions to help you offset that tax bill from that charge off of the credit card. These are things about money and finances that people don't know. Another thing about money and finances is that businesses that offers financial services, they do not go bankrupt during recessions and depressions. This is why I say test cash flow and get with this networking opportunity. People may cancel that weight loss tea that you got in your garage, right? If we having a food famine, people may lose weight as a byproduct of that anyway, right? People might not want that special juice that three people, as my mentor would say, have to go to the Himalayas and get, and only three people can find this special juice, and that if you buy it from them, it can grow a leg back. Now, people not looking for that in recessions. So the year of Jubilee releases people from all their debts according to Leviticus 25. It also releases all slaves. What did this mean in today's translation, you all? It means that in the Bible, when the word servant was used, servants obey your masters, that's now interpreted as employees obey your supervisors, obey your boss, right? So that means year Jubilee means the releasing of our slaves 2022 terminology is releasing of all jobs. And guess what else Leviticus 25 states? In the 50th Jubilee, returning property to who owned it. That means it's going to be a transfer of land for people that can't pay property taxes. This is why I'm telling you all to test cash flow. Taxes is your biggest stealer of wealth. The land that the Israelites were working on and getting 90% of the profits. See, in the Bible, you were only sold as slave if you could not repay debts. A lot of land transfer, a lot of land is going to be cheap. This is where we have the money is not a commodity like Dave Ramsey say, like silver coming into play. This is where silver is going to come in because making these electronic vehicles, 5G Wi-Fi technology is going to power cryptocurrency. These RFID chips that's going to identify people. Tesla vehicles. So silver is going to be used for both money use and industrial use. Now, during the year of Jubilee, the Israelites were not supposed to reap or harvest. It was time for people to return back to family and their loved ones. So according to the Bible, there was no harvesting time. There was no reaping time. And so in the religious church, religious community, oftentimes you hear about sowing and reaping money. In this scenario, 50th year of Jubilee, you sow seeds. There was no one tilting the ground. You had to prepare ahead of time for your food. You have to have storehouses and stock up. And so with that being said, people, 7 days out the week, the seventh day is the Sabbath day. It is devoted to divine transition, the government, divine rest. 7 times 7 is 49 years. So after the 7 years, divine redemption, the silver bullet to redeem wealth transfer. I heard Dr. Claude Anderson say this. He says, every time government gets into office, they talk about we're creating more jobs, right? It's like black people don't need more jobs. Black people need wealth. And the reason why a lot of we're not even a minority. That's another thing. I know that a lot of people saying the Roe versus Wade is, so we won't overtake the Caucasian racial, group or whatever, ethnic group. But we are not the minorities. We're so widespread, it makes us look like the minorities. But the black and brown community, whether you want to get Africans together, Haitians together, black and brown Americans, whatever you want to call us, right? We are not the minorities. We're just scattered abroad, just like they say in Genesis. Scattered. But everyone, 50th year of Jubilee was released from debts. They was released from slavery, released from some jobs, from toiling, from laboring. Everyone got to go to, during this year, they was able to start off a new year with a clean slate. Right? So the debts, again, is not what most people think. And people, anything that God gives us, what is our intellectual property, our intellect, our mind to think, it is a resource, whether it be crops and able to form, right? And so when the Israelites dedicated this year of rest for them, in return and covenant, God provided for them and their needs. See, people, you can't continue to grow vegetables and crops if you overwork land. That's why right now the Biden administration, they're saying no drilling of oil, natural gas and oil and pockets for natural gas to retrieve the oil, because you use oil, people, to make fertilizer out of, right? Oil is used to fertilize. So when you fertilize, when you use the oil to fertilize, and now the United States is going by the biblical blueprint of not drilling for oil, which means fertilizer right now is going to go into being very overpriced. You are a farmer, you have your fertilizer, and stock up on the fertilizer as much as you can right now while it's affordable. Stock up on your seeds right now while you can get it and while it's affordable. This is where the Russia, United States, and China and all this, comes into play. And so, but I do tell people that when you are in alignment and when you are preparing, because I want you to notice the year of Jubilee that the Israelites, they worked for 6 years. They accumulated resources over a 6-year time span. So they trust God. They should have trusted God and dedicated this time for resting. However, the Israelites it was so hard headed. They didn't even trust that God would provide, even with their 6 years of work and laboring and you know prepping. And so this is where this come in, right? Where people thought if I plant and I harvest enough, they can provide for the need of their own self. People, there's let me tell you, there's no prepping and planning that you can do out of your own source. As much as I study silver and gold and cryptocurrency, right? S&P 500 that gives people very little returns. I do know that I must stay in connection and close connection with the infinite creator or creators, according to Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, Elohim, which translates into the powerful ones, created the heavens and the earth. Then my faith does not lie in my decisions, but I do ask for wisdom, knowledge, like Solomon did, to make wise decisions when it comes to my finances. So I'm not just over here saying I'm operating out faith and I have no works, because faith without works are dead, and action without knowledge is ignorance. I added that part on, right? I added that part on. Faith without works are dead, and action without knowledge is ignorance. And so, with that being said, someone brought out to my attention on one of my live streams the word faith, and it has AI in faith. AI, artificial intelligence, which is just a frequency. Faith is a frequency. Stay on the frequency of God and divine connections in your life. See, that was the X factors of 1 Kings 17. I know people here that see me post sometimes on Facebook about tithing, and I talk about that tithing is not a concept to get a blessing. Tithing is done after the blessing. But the part that they probably don't know that I teach is that you must give and you must be in alignment with the divine connection. Like Elijah and the widow woman. And she was about to bake her last meal and die. And there's not going to be many people that are financial deliverers during these times. There's a lot of religious people that, unfortunately, because all they've been taught is religion, all they've been taught is to make affirmations without taking actions. All they've been taught are things like repeat after me, say to your neighbor, speak to the wind. I made this post on my Facebook page. It is 75 million Americans who earn under $35,000 a year. 75 million Americans that earn under $35,000 a year annually, gross. That's before taxes in America. And there are some people saying they are rebuking recessions, right? If you make that income, unfortunately, you've been in a recession. You've been in a recession. So affirmations without actions, faith without works, it is dead. So I talked about the Jubilee. If you're just coming in, I already broke down Jubilee. You're definitely um, encouraged to watch the replay. This is another thing I want to share with you all. Why these times are very, very different. Not only the Roe versus Wade that you all know. Speaking of Roe versus Wade, that was like a 70-year decision. I mean, I'm sorry, a 50-year decision that was overturned. Speaking of Jubilee, 50th year, Roe versus Wade, a 50th year decision, legal act that was overturned, right? You all can put in the comment section your thoughts on Roe versus Wade. But here, I saw this article. Emmett Till's family. Emmett Till's family calls for a woman's arrest after finding a 1955 warrant, right? Uh, let's see. Oh, I should have knew. Thank you. Gwen just sent me a cash out. Thank you, Gwen. Let me put my blue tip glasses on. According to Deuteronomy 1:11, I pray and affirm that there comes back to you 1,000 times more, the God of our ancestors. And I always say that because number one is just divine connection. When two or three touch agree on anything, and then when a person gives, I give back an affirmation of release, of multiplication back into their life. And I have not been doing this since I've been live streaming. Um, I don't think you all know this about me, but I'm a PK, a preacher's kid, and I would do this in church, and people would get blessed, and they would get unexpected blessings, and things would come through, and I stopped because they would foolishly, um, just foolishly spend the blessing, spend the money. They were not seeking financial education, and I did not want to be in that environment and culture where people just didn't want to know what to do with the harvest after they got it, or what to do with the money after they got it. And so I just feel like people was pimping um, an assignment that God had on my life in the wrong ways, and God gave me the grace to walk away from that. So now, when people give, I speak over it and I teach so that they can know how to manifest when they receive and return from a result of their giving. Right? It's showing 241 people in. You all come in and hit the thumbs up. Right? That the algorithm for Facebook and YouTube supports the algorithm, and it will notify other people that I'm live streaming. So exit out the live chat real quick if you're on YouTube, and do that for me. So Emmett Till family calls for a woman's arrest after finding 1955 warrant. The family of Emmett Till is calling for the woman linked to the black teens kidnapping in 1955. I thought that was the double 55 right here. Definitely thought that was interesting because I'm always looking for the signs and the message in the numbers. Again, the Roe versus Wade, right? A 50-year legality that was reversed as we're speaking about the year of Jubilee. And so with this Emmett Till and the 1955 court decision, right? It goes on to say 70 years, depressions happen on average of 75 to 100 years, right? 75 to 100 years. And so when we look at, for example, the double 55 from 1955, it is 55 years is marked biblically with the most evil and violent periods of history of God's people. Now, I'm not wishing or wanting that to come, but under the king Manasseh of Judah in the Bible, we can go in Second Kings and find that the kingdom of Judah, he was the longest reigning king of 55 years. And he was unique and bold in God's words. He shed innocent blood, so we going back to Roe versus Wade in a sense. Now that's a whole nother live stream. I won't get into that. But Manasseh, I'm just showing you Second Kings chapter 1 if you want to fact check. Read that chapter. Um, he ruled Jerusalem for 55 years, and he made Judah to sin, doing evil in the sight of the Lord, according to 2 Kings 21 and 16. Now, Psalms 55, when we look at Psalms 55, it says, this is by King David, to save him from enemies that's oppressing him. And King David goes on to give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not from my supplication. Answer me. I'm distraught. I'm in trouble in my complaint because of the voice of my enemy. But the main 55 that I love is Isaiah 55. It is a prophetic chapter that not only does Jesus' ministry and his reign during the millennium, but also the words of the great day of the festival that was held in Jerusalem. Isaiah 55. I might go into that. I don't know, but it's a very a prophetic chapter about Jesus' reign and Jesus' ministry. So the number 55 holds a lot of weight, right? And actually, the only books to number 55 or more chapters are Isaiah and Psalms, I think. Isaiah and Psalms. And so, with that being said, this coming up, they, kidnapping 1955, lynching a warrant that was never executed, almost 70 years. Is this woman, I guess she's still living, right? So, LaFleur County City Clerk on Wednesday that, they want this warrant for the arrest of Miss Roy Bryant, a basement of a Mississippi. Listen, Mississippi, and you all know I'm from Mississippi, right? If you don't know now, you know. But a Mississippi courthouse last week, so I'm definitely going to be keeping on top of this news. And this was in out of all names, people. And I've never been here. I've never been here, but Money, Mississippi. Now I don't, you all can take it the way you want to, but I'm telling you, Money, Mississippi, August of 1955. All of this to me is prophetic. Money, Mississippi, 1955. And with that being said, you know what? We're gonna do Isaiah 55 and 11 for this live stream. My word that goes forth from my mouth will have certain success. People don't think I'm all doom and gloom. I'm just telling you, be connected to the right people at the right time in the right season. August people, August is not new beginning as you hear in a lot of teaching and preaching. August is really the 6th month. I was breaking down to my daughter what the number 6 means, and even 666, as King Solomon accepted exactly 666 ounces of gold yearly, the richest man in the Bible. But this is really the 6th month. September is the 7th month, Sept, S-E-P-T, where you get the number 7. And accusation that started a chain of events that led to Till's lynching. So acquitted after weeks. These documents were sorted out, and this happened in Money, Mississippi. And so they are calling for the arrest of a warrant that was never executed. I'm definitely going to keep you all on top of that news. And I know some of you all may ask me, but no, I've never been to Money, Mississippi. I have no idea where it is. Right? Hello, Curtis. And so maybe I'll try to find it one day and probably travel there. Pretty sure it's a lot of sources. So why are they saying Bitcoin fell to 19,000 under 19,000 a day? Well, it's saying because that the SEC deals a blow to institutional crypto adaptation with the SEC. So the proposal for Grayscales to list ETF failed the guarantee of the prevention of fraudulent or manipulative acts and practices to protect investors and the public interest. Now, I wish the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commissions, you know, would have accepted this and would have allowed Grayscale to turn Bitcoin Trust into an exchange traded fund on the spot. That would have been great news, but they didn't. They're just delaying the release and the regulations for cryptocurrency so they can release their central bank's digital currency. They're saying this was rejected today, and it could have, they say, protected investors with this ETF uh, proposal from Grayscale, one of the largest companies and corporations that's in the Bitcoin particular game, particular Bitcoin, right? And because of this, it says, buy the rumor, sell the news, that it made the Bitcoin crash. But I tell you, every time Bitcoin goes down, these institutional investors that just come in, and they're buying the dip. They really are. And I know you may be tired of hearing that, but they are doing it. You're going to hear news. This company bought this, or this multimillionaire bought this much. Also, saying higher food prices, global shortages feared. I just told you all about the crop and fertilizer prices soar. Fertilizer oil is used to make fertilizer. So you have fertilizing soil. You can stock up on that fertilizer. You have farming um, equipment, et cetera. Stock up. This is Ohio, and they say they have empty fields. Remember, Ohio also said they have the water drought. Texas also said that as well. So farming is taking a hit, and this man in particular said they have about 1,900 acres, corn, soybeans. You know, usually the government will write a check sometimes to help these farmers out. Pay them out, bail them out, whatever for their crop loss. But that's not good for the American people. It's a food shortage. President Biden has already announced it. And I think what people think when these announcements are made that they're just blatant announcements, like, no, right? Then you got Putin is ready to wage the, I don't even know if I want to say it, war for a long time with the UK, right? They said Putin is saying, hey, we can go to war. Jim Cramer, sometimes I just do the opposite of what Jim Cramer says. But he says the crypto collapse shows the Fed's job is almost complete against inflation. I don't know what he mean by that, by complete against inflation. Where the Fed says they're going to have another basis um, point hike, right? Um, Curtis says, yes, all the commodity are short reserve. All the commodity are short reserve. So with that being said, again, I really do the opposite of what Jim Cramer does. And this is why, and let me take you down a history lesson before my pain medicine wears off, right? I had a root canal. Guess what the dentist asked me though? She was a female dentist. She asked me, she said, "Did you just get a whitening treatment on your my teeth?" And I said, "No, no, ma'am, I don't do whitening treatment." She said, "Your teeth are so white. What do you do?" I said, "Well, I brush with baking soda and peroxide, and I use non-fluoride toothpaste, right? Non-fluoride toothpaste." She said, "Well, keep doing it." And she said, "And you're doing right by not brushing with fluoride." Because even when I get my teeth clean, they ask me, "Do you want the fluoride treatment?" And I said, "No." Right? Even if you get the fluoride treatment at the dentist, they tell you that if you have any crowns, that it would extend the warranty on your crowns. But I know what fluoride does health wise and particular to my pineal gland, so I don't get that. But if a dentist tell you that baking soda, peroxide, and non-fluoride toothpaste is smart, so I came home and told my daughter because I was getting her off the Colgate, and she's like a lot of people. Sometimes she think that Mama, she's like this conspiracy theories or something. Then when I told her, she said, "Well, I stopped brushing with fluoride and et cetera, et cetera." I'm like, okay, right, because I do allow her to make her own decisions, even though I educate her on what I think are the best decisions. But people have to make their own decisions, including my daughter. So let's talk about this transition. Let's talk about some of the things that happened starting in 1929 with the Great Depression in 1929, and what some things that will happen as far as new currency. I'll say it that way, right? This is an era where Ben Franklin discovered electricity, for example, right? They went from candles and um, kerosene lamps and electricity, a new change in technology, a new switch. I was talking about faith in the beginning, faith, AI in the word faith, artificial intelligence is a currency. That's how faith is. It's a currency, being in connection and currency with divine connections and a divine power. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Electricity came, light bulb came, and Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Inventions, genius inventions. Bitcoin, a genius invention that's compared to digital gold that has not been tampered with since 2009, since its creation from this mysterious person that we don't know. So the Roaring Twenties, this was followed by World War One. Seems like we may go into another world war with the Russia and Ukraine, things that's going on, Putin and things like that nature. It was a time of wealth, excess wealth, and it's a time when people believed in the markets and the economy and the government. See, history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And actually, according to the Bible in Ecclesiastes, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. That's why when people tell me they're rebuking something, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because this has happened before. All you need is the plan, the preparation, the protection, and the divine connections. Know what voices to listen to in this season and what voices not to listen to. So people believe in the markets, the economy, and the government. And the stock market went through severe losses. This may be something you all don't know. It plunged over 22%, people, in a few short days. So if you think cryptocurrency is a ride, oh my God, imagine in 1929, stock market in a few couple of days, 22% gains. It made headlines across the country. It just was not the United States. This was a worldwide event. And people over the next several years, the markets had a difficulty recovering. The Dow Jones took a 32-year setback. A 32-year set back. This is why when I tell you all to text cash flow on the screen, I talk about protecting your 401ks. 32 years, people at this time, the Dow Jones, the industrial, lost 90% of its value, and it took 32 years. That means some people died and they did not see a recovery. So another 22 years, right, to surpass its all-time high from 1929 to Dow Jones. Nearly 25% of Americans were unemployed or unable to find work. Over 40% of banks were shut down. They're talking or saying now digital banks are not allowing people to make withdrawals. Digital banks. Millions of savings accounts would disappear. And banks, businesses, governments closing their doors. The economy stood strong, right? All of this stuff was going on in the Great Depression. Now, there were some people who were able to maintain their wealth, like J.C. Penney in the Great Depression, and he did use life insurance. But guess how much money, right, that J.C. Penney had to put into that life insurance? Because J.C. Penney, before he did the clothing retail store, he owned a mining company for farmers and farmhands in a mining company, right? Let me go back and make sure. Yeah, and for foreign families, and he had $3 million in 1920s. That's why I tell people these life insurance policies are to sustain and preserve wealth. I never seen a middle class person get wealthy from this life insurance policy because it's to sustain and grow your wealth and strategically use it to pass on generational wealth. And so, with this being said, he then grew his revenue to $18 billion in over 1,100 stores. It started with 3 million. What I'm saying is to say this, people, get your cash flow up. Visit their website, the Queen of Coins Silver. Cash flow is going to help you again get instant pay raise out of your paycheck, right? Or position you, especially if you don't owe taxes. That's going to increase your cash flow. If you already have your own business, it's going to increase your cash flow because, again, I don't know what side hustle you're doing now, but financial services survive and thrive during recession. Financial services and Madam C.J. Walker, she did hair products for women. She became a millionaire in a depression. Not weight loss products. If you know Madam C.J. Walker, she was a thick woman. She was rich. She was like Oprah Winfrey back in the day. She wasn't selling people weight loss. When there's a food famine, nobody's trying to really lose weight. But they are trying to maintain their hair if you're a woman because of the stress levels. Now, for people that want to be in the stock market, let me hit you with this. The S&P 500 actual returns, this is before management and fees are deducted, are usually 0% in 5 years and 2% on average of 2 to 6% in 8 to 10 years. This is why when people ask me about stocks and I say slow, stocks is slow money, right? If you trade stocks, that's great. But have you tax deduction because you're going to pay capital gains taxes. If you look back on the S&P, and I talked about the Dow Jones Industrial that crashed, it took 30 something years, lost 90% of its value in the Great Depression. Then you go back 20 years and the S&P 500 is a 7% annual return. And this is why I was telling people that the new, just like Benjamin Franklin and electricity and Thomas Edison and the light bulb, every depression brings about a technology advancement in the frequency. Yeah, we have exactly 111 people on. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Every depression brings an advancement in technology. Every one of them brings an advancement in technology. This time is going to be digital money technology, artificial intelligence, machines, and robots. Know what cryptocurrencies you are holding, especially in a bear market, and keep your cash flow up. Having stockpiles of cash flow, because even in life insurance, the lump sums of cash flow, the stockpiles. Stockpiling your cash flow. Being careful where you spend the money. I know this 4th of July weekend, I'm going out to do some things. But after this weekend, I have my focus on the grind. I'm not doing any more, vacations, traveling, none of that. I'm going in September to Las Vegas for my home-based business. So if you're my business partner, I hope to see you there. Going to have a lot of fun and make a lot of money and help people at the same time in a depression. That's what I love about this business and network marketing in general. That the fact that you can actually teach people biblical principles for prosperity. Just like Jesus taught Peter how to pay his tax bills, I'm helping you how to get more tax money back and how to get more money out of your paycheck. And notice when Jesus told Peter to look into the fish's mouth, to go fish and look into the fish mouth, he'll find a gold coin. Again, gold and silver is real money. That will not be changed in the Constitution like Roe versus Wade. That's always going to be in the Constitution. That would never change. And because of that, it's going to be used to reset the currency system. So Jesus told Peter, when Peter asked him about paying taxes, he said, go look in the fish's mouth. People, fishes swim. Water moves. The money was in the currency. The coin was in the movement. It was in a currency. Water is always moving. It's never still. He told him to go in a culture of a moving currency. If you can't take the dip of cryptocurrency, you don't need to be in it. If you want to put $15 in crypto.com and you don't even know how to withdraw it out in the hope that Shiba Inu hits $1, this not for you. This web transfer is not for you. If you don't want, if investing in silver at $24 an ounce is too much for you, when it's going to be a part of this reset, this is not for you. Because like faith, this is a currency too. But you back your faith currency with the AI in the word faith, with God's provision. See, for the Israelites going into the year of Jubilee, God's provision was not only God, but it was the crops, tangible things. Right? So when they stop accepting this paper money, when you see the signs on the cashiers or the grocery stores that say we are not accepting cash, they will accept this as this transition happens. And the government has already told you. And for the middle class, at $24 an ounce, if you're a middle class, this is affordable. So if you go to that website, Queen of Coin Silver, I want you to not only get your silver on auto ship so you can have your wealth plan automated, but I want you to get what's called the challenge pack. The challenge pack will help you when you share this with others. It's not, you can go on other websites and buy silver all day long. You can. You can go on Amex. You can purchase silver on other websites, but other websites won't pay you They won't pay you like to share the opportunity for others to purchase silver. Once you get the challenge pack, that's another cash flow. Multiple sources of cash flow or multiple streams of cash flow that can turn into river flow. So the Queen of Coins silver is for those business minded people that want to share it with other people. Get the challenge pack again, and then get extra dollars cash flow for sharing it with other people and get the asset at the same time, and then continues to convert this into an asset. Multiple sources of income, people, is not multiple hustles, it's not multiple jobs, it's not multiple projects, right? If they're not getting you a higher return on your time or your money. And the two options you see on the screen will get you there, right? Again, I'm not your financial advisor, but I am giving you all the financial education in the game and the strategies you need to not just survive during this great reset, but to thrive as well. So I'm supposed to be going to Essence this weekend. To be honest with you, I don't even feel like packing to go, but I guess I'll pack to go. Just having this root canal, I don't even really feel like rocking like that. But I'm gonna, have fun, balance out my life, enjoy my friends and the Essence, festival for the 4th of July weekend. But after the 4th of July, I'm it's business. It's business, right? And then in September, if you all are with me in the home-based business, that's Make Wealth Real. That's the cash flow number you see on the screen, the guaranteed daily residual income. I will see you in September at that conference. That's the 17th through the 19th in Las Vegas. So if you're not in, get in. And all both of these opportunities to get your wealth up and your return on your investments is very inexpensive, not going to break the bank. We're not in a recession yet anyway, because people are still flooding the gas stations. They're still vacationing. They're still going to, making groceries. They're still eating out in restaurants. Thank you, Gwen. Hey, Gwen, I just saw you in when I switched cameras. I need to purchase silver stacking report to share the report. Well, no, it's not the silver stacking report. Gwen, I changed it to a digital a digital program with my affiliate program. But I was just telling people that if they came in and got the challenge package on the silver, um, give me a second, and I'll share the website. On the silver website, that if they needed that silver stacking report, because what I'm doing right now is giving everybody everything they need for residual income. I gotta get off, but that's the website, Gwen. I got my mentor calling me. This may be $1 million phone call, so I'll talk to you all later. What's going on?